What's up, lads? Couch Pundits here. And yeah, so Chelsea have just won the Champions League 1-0. Kai Havertz scores in the first half. To be honest, like, I kind of said this before in the preview that maybe people would say that this hasn't been a great game, but I think it has been. Like, it was pretty back and forth match, end to end, and Chelsea came out on top, which is a bit. It was a bit of a shock of a game, I'd say, to most people. But with the way it's gone, I think it was a great game. But Adam, as our resident Chelsea fan, give us your thoughts.
Oh, it's unbelievable, honestly. Like, it still hasn't sunk in. Like, the fact that, like, we actually won the Champions League, like, is mad as well. And, like, even Kai Havertz scoring the goal. It's just crazy. Like, honestly, it's hard to put into words. Like, sure, you were saying this, like, the last time we were, like, when you come over here for the Champions League 2 years ago and Liverpool won it. Like, there's not much things you can say to put into perspective. Like, it's mad that we've won it. Like, it's unbelievable. But everyone was unreal today. Like, City didn't create that much. Reece James, I'd probably say Reece James was man of the match. Like, it's between him and Havertz, but I'd probably say Reece James. Like, Aguero came on, just didn't do anything really. Like he was against Sterling the whole game. Then didn't give him a kick either. Like, Foden was definitely City's most dangerous player. Oh, it's just unbelievable. It's hard to put into words, like, how good they've been. It's been unbelievable. Like, what a season. And like, for Tuchel to come in 4 months ago, and like 4 months ago I've been saying we're going to get absolutely hammered by Atletico, to come in and win the Champions League. Like, it's outrageous. Like, Thiago Silva going off. Like, I know the Bayern went off. Like, oh, that was a dodgy one for Rudiger. But I'm just, honestly, I can't even put into words the emotion. I feel like it's mad that we've actually won it. Like, it's unbelievable. Honestly, unbelievable.
Yeah, like yeah, I remember, like, even a few years ago when it was Liverpool, and it doesn't set in fully, and it does take a bit of time. But yeah, I think that was definitely a better final than it was fucking Liverpool Spurs. But yeah, so I think, yeah, like, as you kind of touched on there, I also thought Reece James was man of the match, mostly because there was although it wasn't really much of an attacking performance from both teams, like a good attacking performance. I mean, Chelsea had 8 shots, City had 7, Chelsea had 2 on target. City only had 1 shot on target in the whole game, and that was in the first half, I'm pretty sure, from Foden.
Yeah,
we're pretty sure about that.
Foden had City's only 2 good chances, I think. Like, the first half when Rudiger made that unreal block, and then the second half when what was it again? I can't remember. Foden had a flash chance. I can't remember. My head's all over the place. But it's like Foden was dangerous. Like, I think City were getting proper frustrated in the second half as well. And then I think when it ended up being like, when, like, even as a Chelsea fan, like, I think it was a bit like Ramos on Salah. Like, Rudiger, I don't think Rudiger was like, I'm going to try and end his game or something, but it was just like, I'm going to leave one here on their best player, because, like, they were already frustrated. And then the fact that he went off and, like, he was crying and stuff, obviously you don't want to see that, but, like, he's just thinking what Ramos is thinking. I'm going to try to leave one on him here. Like, I'm not trying to kill him, but just leave one on him if I can. And he did. And I think City were already starting to get frustrated at that point, and then that would just, their heads just went down a bit after that, and they didn't really create much, to be honest. Like, there was 1 or 2 times where I had my heart in my mouth a bit, and especially that Mahrez. Oh my God, remember that Mahrez at the end?
Yeah,
that was. I was just like, oh no,
wasn't a great volley.
Like, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, well, it just. I honestly felt like the ball was in the air for about 10 minutes. Like, I was just like, oh, please go over. But it's honestly, it just hasn't sunk in. It hasn't sunk in. Like at the start of the season, I would have said, like, I remember a lot of people were saying we can win the title and stuff with all the new players. Like, I never really thought we'd win the title. I was thinking maybe 3rd behind Liverpool and City, and then, like, maybe if we get an FA Cup, like, maybe if we get maybe quarters or semis of the Champions League. But I just, as soon as we beat Atletico, I just knew there was something different about the team with Tuchel. Like, we just looked so solid. We didn't give them a chance. Since then, I've just been saying, I think we're going to win the Champions League, and I've been getting laughed at. But I'm telling you now, we've won the Champions League. Like, it's mad. Like, I just still can't believe it. What a team, honestly. Like, it's crazy to think, because every other time, like, when Chelsea got to the final in 2008, you felt like that was prime Chelsea. Like, Terry, Lampard, Drogba, Cech, like, all their main players. 2012, it was a bit messy, but it still was their great team, like, with that same kind of core. But this would never be, like, the start of a season, you would never think this team is getting to even the quarters. Like, even if they got to the quarters, you'd be saying that's very good. But it's mad. Like the fact as well, like even the fact that City have been in such good form lately, and Chelsea have like lost the FA Cup final. They've lost to Leicester. Then they've lost 2 league games or 3 league games. My head's all over the place. Honestly, I just can't believe it. Like it keeps just thinking. Like I keep thinking like we've actually won the Champions League. Like oh madness. Like
Yeah, I think when you look back through, the whole Champions League season, and you think like, obviously people said that Chelsea had it easy from like the Porto game. Really, that was like the big draw. That like people
yeah,
started saying that Chelsea had it really easy.
because you're missing out. Like it was that side of the draw. You had PSG, Bayern, and City, and they were people's favorites. I think at
And
that point.
Dortmund. I
Yeah,
know
like
they weren't the favourite,
yeah,
but they had
like
Haaland.
those
Everyone was
three,
terrified of
were
them.
the favorites, and like you had the other side of the draw with EJ. Yeah,
But like let's not get it twisted here. Like, okay, Chelsea had an easy enough group, but that was under Frank Lampard. Completely different story. They qualified from that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they qualified top of that.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, they did. Like, and to be fair, that was a tough, like not tough. Obviously, Chelsea should still be finishing first, but Lampard did bring us that far. Like, and like I was saying this to you earlier as well before the match. Like, like as much as like people like love to like slate Lampard, and like obviously we wouldn't have won the Champions League if we had Lampard, in my opinion. But we would never have we would never have had Mason Mount or Reece James or like all the other academy players that he's brought through. Like he's just been he has set the tone for like he's kind of put this new generation of players into place, and it's just like he set the future of Chelsea like really with that team. Like it's just crazy. I just still can't believe it. Like Chelsea are actually like tonight they're the best team in Europe. Like you just would never said that at the start of the season. Like it's just some story. Like for me anyway. Maybe every no one else cares, but I care.
Yeah, 100%. But like they, as you said, like Frank Lampard gets them through that group stage, and gets them as far as he can, and then Tuchel takes over and they face Atletico Madrid, which is arguably the hardest round of 16 that you can get if you won your group. Because
I said at that point, I'd rather Barcelona than Atletico Madrid because like Atletico were flying at that point.
Yeah, like they were top of La Liga.
Miles.
Yeah, they were top of La Liga. Like they looked really, really strong, and like obviously they aren't the easiest team that you could have got, but they're the easiest team that you could have got if you came first, meaning that you'd have to get a team that came second.
Yeah.
And the hardest team. What am I saying? The easiest for? I mean the hardest.
Yeah.
And
not that I didn't even notice that.
The hardest. And they beat them like fairly convincingly. Like obviously it was like I think it was 1-0 and 2-0, was it, or 1-0 1-0?
3-0 over the two legs.
Yeah, 1-0 and 2-0, and like say what you want, but like they still beat them so convincingly. Like Suarez didn't get a sniff in those games, started getting annoyed and stuff like that. And then they obviously get the Porto pick for the quarterfinal, and Porto again, like you get to a quarterfinal Champions League, like you're doing something right, especially if you beat Juventus. They beat Ronaldo. Everyone out there says Ronaldo's the best. Like they beat him. He didn't score.
Triggering people.
Yeah, and so they were an unbelievable defensive side. I don't think City scored a goal against them in the group stage.
Don't think so, no.
So like Chelsea got their goals. That one ended 3-1 or something like that. 3-0. I don't know. 3-1. They definitely scored. I think
2-1 over two legs. Chelsea lost the second leg 1-0 to that bicycle kick.
That's correct. And then semi-final Real Madrid.
And we've conceded 2 goals in 7 knockout games.
Yeah, like that's phenomenal.
Didn't concede against Atletico. Conceded 1 in like the 94th minute, the second leg, which meant not against Porto. And then conceded 1 to Real Madrid, Benzema.
Yeah, like
mad. And then none against City.
We spoke about United losing the Europa League final, and how I said that it didn't really matter, that it had to be a stepping stone, for them to go back to what they formerly were. But like this is a massive stepping stone, like a massive stepping stone. You see what happens with Liverpool and stuff like that. Like winning a Champions League out of the blue, kind of. Now I know Liverpool only got to the final, but I'm saying this even for United, getting to the final of a European competition sometimes can propel you like fully into bigger and better things, or sometimes it can just collapse your whole team depending on what happens over the next 3 months. Like you saw with Inter and stuff like that. They won it and then just boom, dead, basically. So I think that's obviously fucking celebrate your Champions League final or whatever, but
tonight we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate tonight. No, we're gonna celebrate tonight. Definitely. Like it's just so mad to think like if at the start of the season, like I know I've said it like 10 times in the podcast, but like just at the start of the season, it's just crazy. Like you would have put Chelsea. Would you say even top 10 favorites? Probably not. Like you would have said Liverpool, City, Bayern, PSG, Real Madrid, probably Atletico Madrid,
United
probably
ahead of them.
Barca, probably United. Yeah, you just had all of them teams ahead of Chelsea. Like, so Chelsea got top 4 on the last day last season. They came fourth, like, so. Oh, it's just mad. Like, they definitely wouldn't have even been top 10, to be honest.
No.
Favorites. It's just mad the way they've come from, and like Tuchel deserves so much credit. And like, I know we'll probably be 10th in November, and he'll get sacked, but I'll never forget him.
Yeah, like, you know, it is pretty like amazing. I think it's mad that like all the brilliant teams that Chelsea have had over there for over really just like the last 20 years or there and there about 15, 20 years, that like possibly like they're not their two weakest teams, but two of their weakest teams over the
Yeah.
past 15 years have won the Champions League. Like,
Yeah, that's probably right. Like, to be honest, as I said to you, in 2012, that was when like the kind of that like golden generation for Chelsea, like Terry, Lampard, Drogba, they were all getting into like their mid-30s. They were getting old, and now it's just the same. Like, it feels like this is the start of something. It doesn't feel like this. Like, they should be winning the Champions League in 3 years when like Mount and Reece James are like in their mid-20s, like they're in their prime. Not like now when it feels like this is like too early. But you're hardly gonna say not take it, but. It was quality finish from Havertz as well. Like, Mount didn't do much tonight, to be honest. This is the first European game like this season. I've probably said he hasn't actually done much, but he gets an assist. Like, so even when he's not, I'm saying he's had a poor game. He's got an assist. Not a poor game, but just like he didn't have a big impact on it. But I think it was in some way. I think most people would have said the game would be very kind of cagey, like a chess match, like in terms of tactics. Like, both teams are so tactical, like the pressing and everything. And I think to some extent it was like that. But I think City just didn't produce enough, did they? Like as I said, obviously Foden had 2 chances, especially done in the first half. That was a big chance. Yeah, like Mahrez, like that's kind of like a half volley from the edge of the box. Like, they're more half chances. They're not like they didn't have a chance where you think they have to score. Like, sure, like Chelsea, like Pulisic should have scored that time when he tried to chip the keeper. Like, that was a bigger chance than any chance City
and
had.
Werner in the first half.
And Werner, God, like, oh my God, well, I would honestly, I'd be crying if it was down to those chances. But yeah, like the Werner should have scored. He miskicked the ball. Like, he didn't. Well, just didn't hit the ball. Didn't make any contact. And then what was it then? Oh yeah, couldn't get the ball from out of his feet for the second chance. But it's just still mad to think, especially like Kai Havertz. Like, the abuse that fella was getting all year, and now like the last 2-3 months, he's shown definitely his talent. Like, he's not been unbelievable, but he's had great moments and great games. And like, this is just crazy. Like, now for him to score the winner. Like, if like a few months ago, he was like, he couldn't get into the team. And even when I saw him in the starting lineup, he was probably the one player I was shocked to see in the start. Not shocked, but I thought Tuchel might go with Ziyech because he always goes with him in big games, or even Pulisic, who's had good moments and has a lot of pace. But
He didn't even make a chance to get in the combined 11 on Instagram.
Havertz.
Yeah, he didn't even get a chance.
Yeah,
he didn't get an option to get to pick Havertz.
We just went off who we predicted to start, and I said
Yeah.
Ziyech probably start for Chelsea. But it's just mad. It's just mad. Like, anyway, I've talked enough about Chelsea. Do you want to talk a bit about why you think City might have kind of fallen short?
Yeah, I think the choice to pick Sterling kind of baffled me a bit. You know, not to have a CDM. Like, obviously CDM's defensive, but sometimes like great CDMs like Rodri, Fernandinho, even like Fabinho, Kante kind of isn't really one, but let's pretend he is. Like, they don't just offer defensive performance. It's what they do in the attack as well. How they kind of distribute the ball, moving from side to side. You see it a lot with the likes of especially City and Liverpool, which this year obviously Liverpool played a bit more conservative, and City always kind of play that way going forward. That they like to pass the ball side to side, side to side, and like when you take that out, like City just looked shocked when like there was no ball directly into the box. They just didn't know what to do with it. And then eventually, like, there was no one that would always be available to take the ball on the half turn to spread it out to the other side. And I think it killed them. Another thing I thought killed them was that I think Sterling and James is just a complete mismatch. Like, Sterling against a back five is a complete mismatch. Never mind just against James. Like, every time Sterling gets on the ball, James has him for pace. Well, he might not have him for pace, but he's not too far off him if he doesn't. But he has him for strength. He has him for height. He has him for everything, you know. And I think Sterling's one of those players that when things aren't going his way, like, he's a 0 out of 10. And I wouldn't give him a 0 out of 10 for tonight, but I wouldn't give him much above it. Like,
To be fair, he's been out of form for a few you could probably say the season. Obviously, he's had good moments, but he's definitely been it's probably his worst year in probably 2 or 3, probably since Pep joined. Like he just hasn't been, especially like the way he's getting nearly 20 goals in the league every season for the last 3, 4, 5 years. He just hasn't been at that this season. And like I've said to you loads of times, Foden just offers you so much more out on that left wing. And even when we saw the starting lineup, I thought it'd be Sterling down the middle, De Bruyne a bit deeper, and then Foden out on the left. But it actually was Sterling out on the left and De Bruyne up front and Foden a bit deeper. I thought that was a bit of a mistake, like not playing Foden on the left where he's been so influential. Because as we saw, every single moment City had there, every good City moment was true Foden, and yeah, Sterling didn't offer anything. And like surely at like half time, like there's at least 5 kind of take-ons between Sterling and Sterling. I don't know where we're getting Rashford from. Sterling and Reece James, and Reece James just won every single one. He was dominating him, and Sterling was getting so frustrated. He just doesn't offer much. Like not doesn't, but he didn't offer much. And Foden would definitely just give you something different. Like I just think it's poor from Guardiola to not. Why change it? Like Foden's been unbelievable on the left all season. One of the best left-sided players in the world this season. Like why change it now? And I'm not 100% sure what the stat is, but I saw, as you were kind of alluding to earlier, the stat that like I'm not sure exactly what it is, but like he's never not started Rodri or Fernandinho in a game before. Why? This is one thing I don't get about Guardiola, and he didn't totally change it and go with like some crazy formation, but like he just changed things up. Like he
panics.
Why does he? Why not play one of them too? And then you bring them on. Like it just looks stupid. Then you're bringing on Fernandinho for like attacking for Bernardo Silva. It should be the other way around. Like when you're chasing a game, but like obviously you've brought on Jesus. Jesus did nothing. He was just kind of coming on. He just caught frustrated figure from the second he came on the pitch. Aguero didn't have much to offer either. In the final 15, but I just thought I'm not one of them people who thinks Pep is like some like bald fraud. I think Pep's like one of the best managers ever. Like I think he's the best manager in the world right now. But I just think it wasn't like a tinker job where he kind of changed formation, changed everything in and out. But he did change things that we've always said. Like I don't think anyone who knows football well would say if City were at their best tonight, they wouldn't have won. I think they would beat Chelsea if they're at the best tonight, and they stuck to what they know. I just think it was such a strange one. It was a strange midfield. Stones was very poor. I thought Stones was very poor. Like that goal, he was caught out. And I understand like City's defending the way they press. It's all about front foot and stuff. And like I understand, there's always a little risk there that the reward out far outweighs. But I just thought Stones was caught so far out of possession, and it's different with Chelsea. Chelsea do that where Rudiger or Azpilicueta steps out on the left or right side of that defence, but they have 4 men left still at the back, whereas City don't. And the fact that they're not even playing a defensive midfielder who can drop back then and cover that, I just thought it was such an odd one from City tonight. Like I think they just played into Chelsea's hands. Like this is if like Thomas Tuchel was to say how he wants this game to go, every single thing was perfect for him. Like they got the first goal. We said that before the game as well. Chelsea aren't a team who deal well with going a goal behind. The first goal is always going to be crucial. I know it's an old cliche, but especially for Chelsea, like you always feel like when they get the first goal, they're very rarely beaten. If they concede first, they very rarely win. And I think this suited Chelsea perfectly, getting the first goal, especially just before half time. Another cliche. We're getting all of them in there tonight, but get a goal before half time. But no, definitely, I think everything just worked out for Chelsea. Like it was unbelievable, and it's hard to believe that they've actually just managed to do that well.
So you just talked about the City midfield there a while back. Just like one thing that I found like really confusing about this, back to kind of like the Fernandinho and Rodri not starting. Like, on paper, Gundogan started in the 6. I know he doesn't play like a normal 6, but like a few months ago, that fellow was playing up front, and was probably the best striker in the Premier League.
Yeah.
How can you just turn around? I know he's so versatile, okay, and I know he plays in midfield usually, and I know he's usually in there and abouts in the pitch, but to just show how drastic of a change it is that, like, in February he got player of the month, or March he got player of the month for being like number 9 basically, or false 9.
He was getting like a goal a game.
Yeah, and then you put him in the 6. Like, it just makes no sense. Now, obviously Gundogan should definitely be starting. The player that I was from the start really being like, why is Sterling starting? Like, why would you start Sterling in this match. Like he's been so bad all season. He's a great player. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think he is a bad player, but this season he's been so poor. And when you put a player out there that's been so poor, that wants to try and prove himself right, as a, he's a good player for like a good City player going down on paper for the history books so far, but like he's gonna get frustrated when he doesn't get his way in that as that type of player, and he's a frustrated player anyways. Like you saw it with Joe Gomez last season, and
He
now
was definitely like that with Reece James tonight, like with Joe
yep.
Gomez. Like, he was just getting so aggy, and like everything. He was so poor. Like,
Yeah. Just kind of one final thing. Like, it was announced that N'Golo Kante got man of the match, and I think I kind of forgot about him when I was thinking of who got man of the match, because obviously Reece James played so well, and we haven't really spoke about Kante too much. Like,
yeah,
what do you say they got him for? 32 million?
32 million off Leicester. Yeah, in 2016. Like, this is his fifth season. He's won the Premier League now. He's won a Champions League. Obviously, he's won the Premier League at Leicester too. Won a World Cup. Like, he's done it all now. It's mad. Like, what a player. What a career he's had.
Is he one of Chelsea's best signings ever? Obviously in the current market.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, not in the
like,
current market, but the 2016 market. 32 million is so cheap.
32 million is like 50, maybe 55, 60 million now, like in terms of like the market change. So what a signing, honestly. Like, he's been like our best player since he's joined, pretty much. Like, I know Hazard was unreal for periods there, but Kante was just so consistent. Like, just like, he was unbelievable. He's unbelievable tonight again. Sure, I think I said earlier, like, I think he's been man of the match, like the official man of the match in like both quarter legs and both semi legs. Like,
And then tonight.
oh, it's mad. Like, and tonight as well. Yeah, he's special. He's a special player. Like, he's one of the best box to box players of all time, and like the way he does things, controls games, he can do everything. Like, there's nothing he can't do, really. Like, even goal scoring the odd time. Oh, he was unbelievable tonight again, and it's just he's a joy to watch. He's actually just such a joy to watch. Like, it's just crazy to think we beat Man City as well. Like, I think a lot of people can agree City probably have been the best team in Europe over the course of the year, whereas Chelsea have just kind of shown up in the big games this year in the Champions League. But then again, that's what it's down to. Like, a lot of the time, like with Real Madrid, even, like, especially maybe 2018, we'll just say, when they beat Liverpool, like, they weren't great that year in the league or anything, and like a lot of the time they were just kind of actually playing poorly enough, but they always show up in the big moments, in the big games, in the Champions League. And that's what it's down to. Like, that's how you win the Champions League. And well, it's just mad now to think, yeah, like, our second Champions League 9 years after the first one. I'd say Roman Abramovich is going to be delighted. Like, hopefully Tuchel gets an extension now. Like, he only has a year left in his contract. He probably won't. Like, they'll probably still sack him by this time next year. Like, I'd be surprised if this time next year he's still in a job. Just knowing Abramovich, like, a year and a half is what you get. He's going to have a year and a half at the end of next year, so nothing surprises me at Chelsea anymore. Like, Di Matteo won Champions League, and in November he got sacked, so you never know. But I'm not going to think of that. I'm just going to enjoy this moment for now. The main thing is that the squad we're building is unreal. Like, there's so much players today that didn't even play that are such good players. Like, Abraham barely gets in the squads. You've got young players like Hudson-Odoi, Gilmore. Abraham's there too. Got Ziyech. Like, there's so much talent there. Like, players like Giroud, Zuma. Like, you can go on and on and on.
Right,
Chelsea has such a good squad.
Just so obviously you've talked about all these players that Chelsea has in their squad and their squad depth and stuff like that. But like, okay, I'm not worried about City whatsoever. Like, they'll go out and probably get Kane and Haaland and whoever they want, because they're City. They literally just buy.
Yeah.
And that's what they do, and that's fine. I don't care. But as a Chelsea fan, they don't have the perfect squad. Okay, they won the Champions League, but they don't have the perfect squad. As you said, like, City definitely have the not the perfect squad, but a better squad. Even though they lost, where do you see Chelsea need to improve? I don't think they need to improve depth. I think it has to happen on the first 11. But where do you see it?
Well, like, the obvious one to start is just like a striker who just is getting you 25 or 30 a season. Like, as much as like I have defended Werner, he misses two big chances. Like, if, like, let's say Havertz misses that, or it doesn't go through on goal there, or something, or he slips, and City win that final 1-0. You're looking and thinking Werner's missed two big chances in the first half. Like, you just can't miss those chances. Like if you have a Harry Kane, a Haaland, or whoever, like they're not missing those. That's 2 goals. Uh, Obviously you hear a lot about like Lukaku being available this summer because Inter are really, really struggling financially. Like I know every club is, but they are really struggling financially. So maybe you could get him for on the cheap. Like I love Kane, but that's not happening. It's just not happening to Chelsea. He's definitely going City. Um, I don't know. Like Donnarumma's up for free this summer. I don't know why Chelsea aren't linked. Like I know Mendy's had such a good season, but he is like 28, 29. Like I know that's not that young. That's not that old for a goalkeeper, but don't know why I wouldn't offer him like serious money. Offer him a contract. Like there's a few positions as well. There's players who I want to let grow as well. I think another centre mid alongside Kante and kind of a Kante replacement. Like I'm not to replace him right now. He's still probably the best in the world at what he does, but the fact that he is 30, 31, I'd love like a Declan Rice in or something this summer just to sit alongside him. Like as much as I do like Jorginho, and he did play really well tonight, he's definitely one player more even than the striker. I feel like we can improve on. Like I do like Kovacic, but I feel like Kovacic's best asset is the way he progresses. Like he like progresses the ball just from his running. Like he brings the ball up the pitch so well. But I feel like Kante does that now under Tuchel. The way he has him playing, I don't think it's not needed as much as last year. So I feel like probably I'd love like someone like Declan Rice this summer. I know United will probably love him too, especially as a six. But I'd love someone like that. I'd love a top striker, like obviously like Haaland or Kane's a dream, but they're not going to happen. Maybe someone like Lukaku or someone else. I don't know. There's no glaring.
Yeah.
I know some people would say a centre back, but I think with Thiago Silva there for another year, Azpilicueta is still good enough. Rudiger has been unreal this season. You still have Christensen and Zuma in behind, maybe another centre half, but that wouldn't be top of my list. I think fullbacks I wouldn't change the fullbacks. Reece James and Chilwell have been class. We have so much attacking talent, and like I think one of those players. I know Mount has been unreal this season, but one of those players alongside Mount is bound to have a great season next season. Like one of Havertz, Pulisic, Ziyech, one of those will have a great season next season. I think. I'd say if I had to guess now, I'm not even just off tonight. I do think it probably would be Havertz, maybe Pulisic, but I'd probably say Havertz over him. Just the fact that he's done so well. Maybe he could be that kind of goal scoring striker for us. Like, but and then Werner play it wide. I'm not sure. It's hard to know, but anyway, it was just unbelievable. But tough one to take, obviously, for City because I think even as a Chelsea fan, I can admit they have been the best team in Europe this year over the course of the games. But at the end of the day, obviously, you have to turn up in the big matches to win the big prizes. Like
It's lucky they've no fans because it's proper heartbreaking.
Like, it was actually, speaking of fans, it was great to watch the final with fans this year as well. Like there was actually I don't know what the number was. I think it was 8,000 each, but it was great to watch the fans this year in the stadium. It made such a difference, I'd say, to the players and things because like it's so different. Like watching the final this time last year, Bayern versus PSG, watching a Champions League final with fake crowd noise. It's just like it's chalk and cheese compared to now. So it was great watching that. But yeah, no. Do you have anything else to say?
Not really, do.
Champions of Europe.
All right. Yeah. So please, like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. I'm sure we'll be doing loads of stuff for the Euros.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Just only the start.
Yeah. Like I don't know how many things we're gonna do a week, but it's gonna be loads. So follow all the socials. I'll put them down in the description and yeah, Chelsea are champions of Europe, sadly. But look, we go again. Cheers.
Thanks.